In the late 1990s and early 2000s, Wall Street had a favorite child. Its name was Healthsouth, led by its charismatic CEO Richard Scrushy. The healthcare company expanded at an astonishing pace. Investors admired its rapid growth. Analysts praised its consistent earnings, and the company became one of America's largest healthcare providers. From the outside, healthcare looked unstoppable. Every quarter, it appeared to exceed expectations, strengthening its reputation as a market leader. But behind impressive financial results, the pressure to maintain that image was becoming overwhelming. Inside Healthsouth's Birmingham headquarters, the reality was very different. The company's actual operating performance was deteriorating, and profits were falling far below Wall Street expectations. Chief Financial Officer Aaron Bean faced an impossible situation. Missing earning targets could trigger a sharp decline in the company's share price and destroy billions of dollars in market value. At the same time, Bean feared the reaction of Richard Scrushy, whose demanding leadership style left little room for failure. The pressure to deliver perfect results became stronger than the commitment to report the truth. As the financial gap widened, the executive made a decision that will eventually become one of the largest accounting frauds in US history. Instead of reporting disappointing results, they manipulated the company's financial statement. False accounting entries were created to inflate profits and assets, allowing Healthsouth to meet analysts' expectations quarter after quarter. What began as small adjustment quickly evolved into a systemic fraud worth billions of dollars. Each reporting period required even more manipulations to hide the previous deceptions, creating a cycle that became increasingly difficult to escape. Meanwhile, the external auditors continue performing routine audit procedure. They work from a comfortable conference room, reviewing printed financial records, checking selected transactions through manual sampling, and relying heavily on management explanations. On paper, everything appeared to be in order. Traditional audit techniques focus on examining individual transactions rather than identifying unusual patterns across the entire financial system. As a result, the auditor fails to detect extensive digital manipulation taking place behind the scenes. They will search for visible cracks, while much of larger problem remain hidden beneath the surface. Eventually, the fraud collapsed. Whistleblower exposed the scheme, revealing the Healthsouth and overstated its earnings by billions of dollars over several years. The scandal shocked investors, regulator, and the audit profession. It instrumented the traditional audit method were no longer sufficient for detecting sophisticated financial fraud. The Healthsouth case became a more powerful lesson in the importance of professional skepticism, ethical leadership, and stronger internal controls. Today, it also highlights the growing needs for forensic accounting, data analytics, and continuous auditing technique to identify fraud before it causes catastrophic damage.
When the sun goes down, the corporate metrics change. The clock strikes 2 a.m. The offices are pitch black, empty, and dead silent. But in the shadows, a single computer terminal flashes to life, casting a cold, blue glow across empty cubicles. This was the hour of the family meeting secret. Late night sessions where Aaron Beam and Assistant Controller Kin Livesay confront the massive chasm between what Healthsouth actually earned and what the market expected. The deficit was hundreds of millions of dollars. You couldn't just write a fake multi-million-dollar check. The traditional auditor's manual sampling routines would flag any individual transaction over $5,000 instantly. So, Livesay weaponized technology. He wrote an automated database script designed to exploit the blind spots of human auditors. Instead of hiding one massive lie, the script sliced the fraud into tens of thousands of tiny, microscopic pieces, a technique known as salami slicing. The program automatically injected thousands of completely fabricated asset and sales entries across thousands of separate facility accounts. Every single entry was calculated to fall precisely between $500 and $4,999, safely underneath the auditor's radar. To a human checking paper, a $1,200 entry looked perfectly normal, but executed systematically over years, these late-night ghost entries compounded into a staggering $2.7 billion of completely fabricated profit.
An internal bookkeeper named Michael Vines eventually saw the anomalies and tried to sound the alarm. But traditional auditors, blinded by pristine paperwork, dismiss him. But paperwork isn't the final word anymore. Here enter the digital forensic unit. Specialized analytic tools, these forensic auditors didn't look at the papers. They bypassed the executive entirely and plugged directly into the raw database architecture. They didn't sample, they audited everything. Instantly, the analytics threw a massive red flags, a definitive profitability efficiency mismatch. Even though the corporate chart showed reported net income skyrocketing, the actual cash flowing through the company's bank account actually flatlined completely. The numbers on the paper didn't match the reality of the vault. Then came the definitive aha moment. By mining the system unalterable log files, the cryptographic diary of the network investigators mapped out a bizarre behavioral patterns. Tens of thousands of asset adjustments weren't happening during the day. They were systematically pushed between 1 a.m. and 4 a.m. Even worse for the fraudsters, the metadata left an absolute trail. The system logs permanently tied those late-night entries to internal IP addresses used by the core accounting staffs. The ghost entries were unmasked. The digital footprint had caught the perpetrators red-handed.
Standing before a newly appointed board of directors, the lead forensic auditor delivered a clear message. Traditional retrospective and assembly is entirely obsolete in a digital economy. To stop systematic executive override, enterprise infrastructure must evolve. First, organizations must deploy continuous auditing system driven by real-time data monitoring. Instead of checking books once a year, AI-driven analytic models must sit directly on top of production ledgers 24/7. The moment an unusual cluster or transaction occurs, such as thousands of entries strangely falling just below a manual review threshold, the system must automatically flag and freeze the activity instantly. Second, the industry must enforce strict digital segregation of duties. In the modern era, security is not just about who handle the cash. It is about who control the code. Accounting personnel must strip of any technical capability to alter production ledgers outside standard operational windows. More importantly, system metadata and server log must be stored in automated, immutable environments. If an administrator overrides a system, they must have absolutely zero technical permission to delete or alter the log file that recorded the event. The record of the action must be permanent.
When the digital forensics unmasked the absolute truth, the 2.7 billion house of cards collapsed with devastating speed. The corporate empire dissolved into a series of high-profile federal prosecutions. CFO Aaron Bean and Assistant Controller Ken Livesay pled guilty to massive corporate fraud, exchanging their executive titles for federal prison uniforms, personal bankruptcy, and ruined reputations. While CEO Richard Scrushy was thrust into a relentless barrage of civil and criminal litigation that permanently dismantled his career and stripped away his massive personal wealth. While Healthsouth managed to narrowly survive the scandal through intense corporate restructuring, the true collateral damage was felt by the innocent. Thousands of everyday employees found their career credentials permanently stained by association, and countless retail investors watched their life savings and retirement funds vaporage overnight. The late-night ghost entries of Healthsouth stand as a permanent lesson for the modern business landscapes. It provides that while financial statements can be easily manipulated on paper, the underlying system architecture never forgets. Executives can forge the ledger, but in the digital era, the footprint is eternal.